Marcus Aurelius. Believe the true respect should be accorded to those who embody the values of wisdom, virtue, and self-discipline. Individuals who exhibit behaviors contrary to these principles are not deserving of our respect in this video. We will explore the 10 behaviors and qualities that Marcus Aurelius admonished us not to respect. By doing so, we can gain valuable insights into how to lead a virtuous life and choose our companions wisely. Let us embark on this journey through the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, and in doing so may we find inspiration to live a more meaningful and purposeful life design. Injustice is in piety, for since the universal nature has made rational animals for the sake of one another, to help them according to their desert, but in no way to injure one another. He who transgresses her will is clearly guilty of, and piety toward the highest divinity. Dishonesty is the first trait that Marcus Aurelius urges us not to respect to him. Honesty is not just a virtue, it is a moral imperative in a world where falsehoods and deception often prevail. The Stoic philosopher reminds us that living a truthful life is not only a matter of personal integrity, but also a manifestation of our duty to the greater good. When we encounter individuals who would be truly lie, cheat, or manipulate, Marcus Aurelius encourages us to withhold. I respect such behaviors are not in alignment with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Instead, they demonstrate a lack of integrity and a disregard for the fundamental principles of human decency in our modern world. Honesty is a rare and precious commodity. We are bombarded with falsehoods from all directions, whether in politics, business, or personal relationships. However, it is in the face of this moral erosion that Marcus Aurelius, his teachings become even more relevant. He reminds us that by choosing to respect those who are honest and truthful, we align ourselves with the universal order and contribute to a more just and virtuous society. Arrogance. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? Arrogance is a characteristic that Marcus Aurelius vehemently advises against respecting. In his view, arrogance is the antithesis of humility, and humility is a cornerstone of wisdom. The truly wise person, according to sources, and recognizes their limitations and imperfections and seeks continuous self-improvement. When we encounter individuals who exude arrogance, believing themselves to be superior to others, we're witnessing a grave departure from the path of virtue. Arrogance blinds us to our own flaws and prevents us from learning and growing. It breeds resentment and division, undermining the very foundations of a harmonious society. To Marcus Aurelius, the act of respecting the arrogant is to condone their hubris and validate their false sense of superiority. Instead, he urges us to show respect to those who display humility, acknowledging that they, like us, are on a journey of self-discovery and growth. By doing so, we promote unity, empathy, and a deeper understanding of our shared humanity. Self-indulgence. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Self-indulgence is a behavior that Marcus Aurelius cautions us not to respect. In a world that often glorifies hedonism and immediate gratification, he reminds us of the ephemeral nature of life and the importance of living in accordance with our true values. When individuals prioritize their own pleasure and comfort at the expense of virtue and self-discipline, they are veering away from the Stoic path. Selfish indulgence can manifest in various forms, from overconsumption of material goods to excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures, all of which distract us from the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. Respecting those who succumbed to self-indulgence not only condones their behavior but also reinforces the notion that putting things off is the biggest waste of life. It snatches away each day as it comes and denies us the present by promising the future. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. You are arranging what lies in fortune's control and abandoning what lies in yours. What are you looking at? To what goal are you straining? The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself and in no instance bypass the discriminations of reason? You have been given the principles that you ought to endorse, and you have endorsed them. What kind of teacher, then, are you still waiting for in order to refer your self-improvement to him? You are no longer a boy but a full-grown man. If you are careless and lazy now and keep putting things off and always deferring the day after which you will attend to yourself, you will not notice that you are making no progress, but you will live and die as someone quite ordinary. From now on, then, resolve to live as a grown-up who is making progress, and make whatever you think best a law that you never set aside. And whenever you encounter anything that is difficult or pleasurable or highly or lowly regarded, remember that the contest is now. You are at the Olympic Games. You cannot wait any longer, and that your progress is wrecked or preserved by a single day and a single event. This is how Socrates fulfilled himself, by attending to nothing except reason in everything he encountered. And you, although you are not yet Socrates, should live as someone who at least wants to be Socrates. Remember how long you've been putting this off. How many extensions the gods gave you, and you didn't use them. At some point you have to recognize what the world it is that you belong to, what power rules it, and from what source you spring. That there is a limit to the time assigned you, and if you don't use it to free yourself, it will be gone and will never return. You are living as if destined to live forever. Your own frailty never occurs to you. You don't notice how much time has already passed, but squander it as though you had a full and overflowing supply, though all the while that very day which you are devoting to somebody or something may be your last. You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. How late it is to begin really to live just when life must end. How stupid to forget our mortality, and put off sensible plans to our 50th and 60th years, aiming to begin life from a point at which few have arrived. What would have become of Hercules, do you think, if there had been no lion, hydra, stag, or boar, and no savage criminals to rid the world of? What would he have done in the absence of such challenges? Obviously, he would have just rolled over in bed and gone back to sleep. So by snoring his life away in luxury and comfort, he never would have developed into the mighty Hercules. And even if he had, what good would it have done him? What would have been the use of those arms, that physique, and that noble soul, without crises or conditions to stir into him action? You will hear many people saying, "When I am 50, I shall retire into leisure. When I am 60, I shall give up public duties." And what guarantee do you have of a longer life? Who will allow your course to proceed as you arrange it? Aren't you ashamed to keep for yourself just the remnants of your life, and to devote to wisdom only that time which cannot be spent on any business? How late it is to begin really to live just when life must end. Concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and on freeing yourself from all other distractions. Yes, you can. If you do everything as if it were the last thing you were doing in your life and stop being aimless, stop letting your emotions override what your mind tells you, stop being hypocritical, self-centered, irritable, you see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and reverent life. If you can manage this, that's all even the gods can ask of you. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I have to go to work, and as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for? The things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? So you were born to feel nice, instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can, and you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands?" Agreed. But nature set a limit on that, as it did on eating and drinking, and you're over the limit. You've had more than enough of that, but not of working. There you're still below your quota. Suppose that a god announced that you were going to die tomorrow or the day after. Unless you were a complete coward, you wouldn't kick up a fuss about which day it was. What difference could it make? Now recognize that the difference between years from now and tomorrow is just as small. Marcus Aurelius was Roman emperor from 161 to 180. Known as the last of the 5 good emperors, Aurelius was not born into power, but rather was adopted. His biological father died when he was 3 years old. Historians refer to him as a kind ruler who was incredibly loyal to his duty to serve the Roman Empire. As a boy, Aurelius was taught by various private tutors, and he became particularly interested in philosophy. It is even said that he went so far as to take on the dress and behavior of a philosopher by sleeping on the floor at night, which, apparently, made his mother rather unhappy. We'll never know for certain, but the story of his sleeping on the floor gives the impression that Aurelius had a natural curiosity and a desire to be a self-experimenter. If you told him real philosophers sleep on the floor, he wanted to try it out for himself. This same thought process is evident in many of his later writings. Aurelius believed that philosophy wasn't merely something to think about, but that it should also be practiced. Today, Aurelius is perhaps best known for his collection of essays called Meditations, audiobook. Although we don't know many details about Marcus's day-to-day life, Meditations offers a glimpse into his mind, his habits, and his approach to life. The very act of writing Meditations, which took him at least 10 years, is evidence to his commitment to habit, consistency, and improvement. Many historians believe that Aurelius practiced writing as a daily habit, regardless of the circumstances. Some of his most famous passages were written from outposts and battlefields as he sought to expand the Roman Empire. It was through these essays that he shared his thoughts on how to balance the conflict of real life with the values of philosophy. Everything, a horse, a vine, is created for some duty. For what task, then, were you yourself created? A man's true delight is to do the things he was made for. On dealing with criticism, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. Things can't shape our decisions by themselves. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Don't be ashamed to need help. Like a soldier storming a wall, you have a mission to accomplish. And if you've been wounded and you need a comrade to pull you up, so what? Your mind will be like its habitual thoughts, for the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Soak it then in such trains of thoughts as, for example, where life is possible at all, a right life is possible. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. Live a good life. If there are gods and they are just, then they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by. If there are gods, but unjust, then you should not want to worship them. If there are no gods, then you will be gone, but will have lived a noble life that will live on in the memories of your loved ones. Note: I've been told this final quote has been incorrectly attributed to Marcus Aurelius, but I left it in because I still find it useful. For more ideas, quotes, and musings from Marcus Aurelius, I highly recommend reading his book, Meditations. As far as we know, it was written mostly for his own self-improvement, so it doesn't follow a rigid structure of any type. That said, the book is widely regarded as one of the greatest texts on Stoic philosophy, and I think any reader would find something useful to take away from it. Masters of Habit is a series of mini-biographies on the rituals, routines, and mindsets of great athletes, artists, and leaders. If you want more practical ideas for breaking bad habits and creating good habits, check out my book Atomic Habits, which will show you how small changes in habits can lead to remarkable results. Life is like a river, ever-changing yet always constant. Acceptance isn't defeat, it's the first step towards wisdom. True strength isn't loud, it's the quiet resilience within. The storm doesn't ask permission, and neither should your determination. Emotions are waves, let them wash over you, but never let them pull you under. Realize that the only control you truly have is over your own mind. Life's harmony lies in balancing the inevitable highs and lows. Plant your thoughts wisely, for they are the seeds of your actions. Kindness is a language that transcends all barriers. The brightest flame is the one that burns within. Time is a river, flowing forward, shaping the landscape of our lives. Find joy, not in what you have, but in who you are. Being at peace with yourself is the greatest success. Life is a journey, not a race. Enjoy the path and learn along the way. Inner peace begins when you stop letting others control your emotions. Discover the power of now, for it is the only moment you truly have. Wisdom is knowing when to act and when to let go. Embrace change, for it is the only constant in life. Love is the art of accepting others as they are, not as we want them to be. True love is a mirror reflecting our virtues and flaws alike. Love is the silent language spoken by the heart. Patience in love is the highest form of wisdom. Love is not about possession, it's about appreciation. In the realm of love, ego is the only outsider. The most profound act of love is to accept someone's imperfections. Love does not shackle, it liberates. Love is the recognition of ourselves in others. True love is not blind, it sees but it does not mind. Love is the silent promise to endure together, through storms and calm. Love given freely is the most powerful force in the universe. Love is not a race, but a journey to be savored each step of the way. Love is the most eloquent silence. In love we find our deepest truths reflected. A heart filled with love is a mind filled with peace. Love is not about finding the perfect person, but seeing an imperfect person perfectly. The best shelter from life's storms is a calm mind. Acceptance is the key that unlocks peace. Life is but a play, and we are all actors. Adversity is a teacher, not an enemy. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. True wealth is a content heart. Life is the canvas, our actions the paint. Peace is not a destination but a journey. Life's beauty is hidden in its simplicity. The sun of wisdom dispels the clouds of uncertainty. In the garden of life, patience is the sweetest fruit. Character is built in the forge of adversity. Every ending is but a new beginning. Kindness is the universal language of humanity. Our greatest enemy is often our own perception. Every day is a new chance to become a better version of ourselves. Life is a river, and we must go with the flow. Stoicism teaches us to embrace change, not fear it. True freedom is found in the mind, not in circumstances. Wisdom is the most precious asset, for it cannot be stolen. Patience is the key to peace both within and without. Kindness, when given freely, enriches both the giver and the receiver. Resilience is the art of turning obstacles into opportunities. Tranquility isn't the absence of noise, but the presence of inner peace. The secret to happiness is accepting life as it is, not as we wish it to be. Our reactions shape our reality more than our circumstances. Adversity doesn't make or break us. Our response to it does. The strongest fortress is the mind, well guarded by reason. Emotions are waves. We can choose to surf or get swept away. True wealth lies not in having more, but in desiring less. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, but understanding them. Regret is a heavy burden. Let go and travel light. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. Let go of the illusion of control and find peace in acceptance. Gratitude is the antidote to dissatisfaction. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs? It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live.